All right, what's going on, everyone? There's a lot of stuff that happened in these past couple weeks. So today we are going to be going over the SVB bank collapse. So SVB is Silicon Valley Bank and had a huge collapse. So let's talk a little bit about what happened. So SVB bought about 1.5% yielding mortgage-backed securities, and this was done about 2 to 3 years ago. And then we have the Federal Reserve recently in its fight against inflation raising interest rates to, we'll call it about 4% or so. I think that's what the number is. So we're in a recession. We're basically in a recession. People are pulling their money out, and people that are invested into SVB are like, wait, I'm yielding 1.5% in these mortgage backed securities that SVB as a company bought, when I could just pull out and invest in US treasuries that'll yield me about 4 to 5% given the current high interest rate environment. So a lot of people are realizing this, a lot of companies are realizing this, and they're going to be pulling out of SVB. So you know what happens when everyone pulls out and everyone wants their money, but the bank can't give it to them. SVB can't give it to them. So, you know, SVB, being that they're heavily invested in these mortgage-backed securities, the value of them has been dropping due to the demand of these dropping based on their low yield. So everyone's going to be withdrawing. What's going to be happening is the big word insolvency. So simple explanation of insolvency is when we have a bunch of people, let's say, deposit $100, and then the value of the bank goes down to $90 billion. So we'll talk about this in terms of billions. So a bunch of people investing about $100 billion into the bank. Let's say that that's like the total value of the bank. And now the value of the bank, because whatever that they're invested in is yielding so low, the value of that bank is going down to 90 billion. And everyone wants to withdraw that initial 1 billion, 100 billion. So they are 10% insolvent at about $10 million. This leads to the bank run that we are experiencing. So overall, what really happened that led to this collapse was SVB had billions of dollars of bonds that were worth way below these very high interest rates that the Federal Reserve has set. And how is the Fed responding to this? Well, the Fed is saying that they are responding with 100% deposit coverage. They are bailing them out. If the Fed bails these banks out, that means that these banks, that they are set in a position in which they can take more risk. I mean, if these big banks know that any given financial or economic crisis that the Federal Reserve is going to bail them out, then why not take more risk? It's pretty crazy. So overall, what do I think is going to happen? I think that in regards to banking, I don't think this is a secret to any of us, but I think that big banks are really going to flourish. We're really going to see banking just be kept, banking operations, finance, economic operations kept to more of the institutionalized banks such as Citi or JP Morgan, Chase. Like those big banks are going to be the ones running the show, not the small regional banks. Like you have those smaller banks like, I don't know, Ally or BMO Harris or whatever. You're going to have a bunch of tiny banks like those. But I would say your money generally is safe with, banks that are like big, like Citi or JP Morgan. And they're promising, so-called FDIC insurance at about 200 up to 250K. So don't leave anything more than 250K in the bank, and you should be able to get your money deposited, covered in case something happens to it. So yeah, in short, the Fed, they won't let the big guys go. The little guys are gonna go boom boom, and yeah, they're just not gonna let an economic collapse happen just as a function of the big banks collapsing. Like they bailed out so many. They bailed out like aviation companies, bailing out like Boeing, bailing out like bailing out the economy, bailing out the Americans, like given like that we give them stimulus checks and whatnot. So that's my little spiel on what happened with SVB in a very simple note. So if you like what you saw. Maybe give me a thumbs up, a like, comment, and subscribe to my channel for more of this kind of information. And maybe let me know if I got anything right or anything wrong, or what your thoughts are. Would love to hear it. I'll reply to you in the comments below. And additionally, I do provide career services in these hard times. So things like resumes, cover letters, interviews, LinkedIn optimization, the whole 9 yards. Make sure to check out the link in the description below. Talk to you later.